Yeah, Paul, if you saw that, that may well have been a glitch because
There we go.
I did some reworking to how these objects are displayed to kind of make them more dynamic, if that makes sense. So this is the first case where you have one kind of thing on the battlefield, like this trigger, but it actually has multiple like visual elements to it, if that makes sense. So you've got the
Gotcha.
trigger, and then you've got the the gun, which can move around. So some stuff had to change on the back end to make that possible, and it's possible that it caused whatever glitch you saw there.
So basically, in this layout, we're trying to figure out whether or not it's worth it getting into that half cover tile there, essentially.
Yeah. I mean, I have a plan to make it hopefully possible, but we shall see. I mean, yeah, I guess it's not revealing too much. What I'm thinking is, at some point, somebody may end up getting KO'd on the trigger, and then it will kind of open up the row for the opposite team.
Oh, okay. So it's kind of like a defensive positioning strategy in terms of like ultimately one of my characters will die. So okay. Yeah, that's interesting.
Or if I can try and engineer things so that Paul, yeah, somehow one of Paul's characters ends up dead on top of the switch. That's kind of what I'm hoping will happen.
Unfortunately, Paul's characters are at the polar opposite of the area that you want them to be to get onto that trigger, so you're gonna have to do plenty of pulling and shoving, it seems. Yep. That's cool though. Yeah, that's interesting, huh? Because you're gonna have to focus up with that warrior and then get into a position where you can either shove the chemist all the way back or, you know, do some combination.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah, it's very hard to predict. Also, with the health, it's going to potentially drag people around as they try to chase the health. So.
I think this music might be slightly louder than the other tracks that we have in the game right now. Or it might just be me. So Warwick's, if it's too loud, just let me know. Otherwise, I'm just kind of vibing on it. So this is fine. Yeah, it's interesting because right now I would definitely want to put that chemist onto the health pickup, but that definitely puts them into harm's way. So.
Also, I guess an important point, I can't place a trap on top of the trigger.
Ah, yes. Okay.
I can't put one there.
No, it's impossible to get to. I mean, you could just like, well, it could go out in the wash, to be honest, if you just jump on it, but it still, you know, puts you into that zone for a little while, which is not great. Yeah, Jason, I think you're eventually gonna have to bite the bullet and try to focus up with that warrior so you can get a shove out. I don't know how else you're gonna get people into that back column.
That's true, but I feel like what I've got going on now is at least putting Paul's characters not really where he wants them.
I mean, this is entirely true.
There's no nice square for a totem to stand in, for example.
Yep, yep. Yeah, it's a little bit costly at this point of the game to focus up with a warrior because there's just so much that can happen in time. In between like your focus turn and next one, so actually I think that focus might be more viable later in the game, just because of the lack of the number of characters that you have to sit, possibly lose that focus, which is kind of cool. Like it works out for us because I feel like the early game is mostly like poking and prodding the other person to see if you can get like a head start on doing some damage on a particular character. And like the mid game is like figuring out, trying to see like if you can round that corner to is like, is it worth focusing up here so I can, you know, do something, do a lot of damage all at once. And then the end game is like, okay, there's less characters around, so I can definitely focus up because it's only like skipping one turn basically, as opposed to allowing your opponents to do like multiple things at a time. Which is cool because it kind of like builds up that like back and forth, like it kind of escalates throughout the game, so you can do like more and more damage later on. Here's that chemist is not long for the world. Jason, I think you might actually get your strategy off.
It may happen.
It's almost there. It depends on how much damage you're going to be able to do with the ranger and the engineer.
Yeah, I'm just. Yeah, I was gonna say I was worried there. Paul might just.
He could hop in there.
Yeah. Okay.
All right, never mind.
I was gonna say
All
whether
right.
he just tank it with Shio, like that was a possibility. I think.
Yeah. Especially since Shio doesn't have any stacks of fatigue on him, so that's it could have been a decent strategy, a bold one, but you know it could have paid off. Yeah, it's just gonna depend if you can do 14 damage here, which I think you can because you'll be able to kind of do a quick shot and then do an arm pull, and then jump onto the trigger with the engineer. Ah, very bold.
Death or glory.
Did hurt the ranger there though, but that was definitely worth it. I don't think I personally would have put the ranger there.
Why did I do that? Sorry, I don't know what I was thinking there. Oh, I was thinking I'm gonna kill the chemist, so he won't be able to trigger the trigger. So I'll go and stand in the back now.
Nope.
When I forgot that I was planning to trigger it myself. Okay.
At least you only have one character back there.
Yeah, that was a complete brain fart there.
It ended up going okay though. I was gonna say Paul's in a little bit of a difficult situation here, but you know, putting that totem there is pretty good in terms of the overall layout. How fast totem is as of right now. Getting a couple more turns, kind of push people away from that zone. I think, what am I gonna say? I think this new terrain is a perfect example of what we're trying to go for. in terms of limiting strategies on a battlefield without like permanently taking off an entire column or an entire row. This definitely targets a column, and it makes it dangerous to be there. But you know, it's only dangerous if your opponent is able to capitalize on you being there.
Exactly, and you may be able to mitigate that and make it safe later on, kind of thing.
Yeah, definitely. Like creative use of, creative use of bodies and all that. Yeah, it kind of contrasts in with the corrosive tiles, which doesn't really like being there is always bad for you, pretty much. And your opponent doesn't have to try to capitalize on it. It doesn't matter what they do necessarily, unless they want to preemptively get you in that tile. But this is kind of the opposite of that, where it's like, it's not inherently bad to be in that tile, but it's very easy for your opponent to take advantage of it. Oof. I wonder if earlier on, I wonder if Paul should have just bit the bullet and jumped into that trap to get the health spawning in different areas earlier
Yeah,
on.
I've picked it up, what, like 3 times now? It's definitely been...
Yeah, there's definitely an advantage to that. Yeah, the earlier you do it, the better, because right now it's like, well, it's kind of impossible. Oh, Jesus.
GG.
That's what happens with Shio later on in the fight without the ability to kind of get that armor back. But yeah, so. Well, that is the flame trigger in action.
Do you want to give it a try, Andrew?
Yeah, I can get in there.
Maybe let's have you and Paul.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, let me.
Yeah, let's keep an eye out in case the bug that affected Paul. And I guess Paul's accepting the challenge again, so...
Oh, do we want to do it the opposite way?
No. I mean, it's,
Okay, cool.
it's just trying to observe.
All right, let me spectate. There we go. All right, cool. Oh, I think we struck out here. We got lots of speed. We want to re-roll this?
Well, there we go.
We do! Oh, gotta go back. I'm losing track of my window. All right, cool.
I love Katamari. I've got a picture of Katamari on my wall. I've got one of those ukiyo-e pictures of Katamari.
The what?
So it's that they're video game pictures done in like a Japanese woodblock print style.
Oh, yeah. Who's the artist that does that? Because there's someone
David Bull, I believe.
Where's that person located? Because
in Japan. I think it's an American guy who lives in Japan. I don't know if it's the same person who actually designs them, but I know it's associated with that guy.
Okay, cool. There's someone who does something similar, I believe, in the Boston area. We got like a pin they made. Also in that kind of style. Oh no, we got they did they did like a kind of scroll. Yeah, let me see if I can find that. Yeah. So we got something close to that style from someone in Boston who did gosh, what was it? Is it Awen stabbing the Witch King, I believe, from Lord of the Rings, or trying to remember exactly, but it's really cool looking.
Yeah, I love these. So when we would take Steamhounds down to live shows, quite often, 'cause, you know, they'd have the stall selling all the
Oh yeah,
cool nerdy stuff. I would always see these, and every time I was like, yes, I would go and browse through them, and I could never decide. And in the end, I went and bought. I got the Katamari one. I also got like a One Punch Man,
Oh,
which
nice.
is pretty
Okay.
funny.
Don't know what I'm now. Trying to figure.
There you go. There's the One Punch.
Knowing nothing about One Punch Man, I still find this entertaining.
It captures the vibe of it. It's really good, actually. Like, I would definitely suggest checking out the show.
Yeah, I'm trying to watch through. I'm introducing a friend to Cowboy Bebop, so I'm trying to like get them through that.
So good. It's
Bebop's my favorite. I gotta say. Darn. Okay, I'm just gonna.
I think my avatar in our Slack is still
I believe so.
Radical
Still...
Edward. Yeah.
Yeah. Paul, don't try to pick apart my strategy. My strategy is Drunken Master style, where there is no strategy. So.
The strategy was almost clicking concede just there. What?
I was trying to figure out what I was doing. I was trying to go back. Oh man. All right. Yeah, this is interesting. This is kind of a tough one because basically what's happening here. I like this layout. This is a cool layout, and I will explain why, and explain why I'm taking so long to like figure out what the hell I'm doing here. If you start a character in this zone, like this is the only safe column, basically, for the most part. But if you start all of your characters in this column, you can't press this button. But if you're in the back column, you're probably going to get poisoned. And if you're in the center column, you're just asking to either, if you're in this center zone, like in this one tile, you're asking to get flamed and corroded potentially.
Yeah.
So it's kind of difficult to.
If you were to stand on the speed up tile, would that put you first?
Well, it depends on. Well, actually, yeah, it would. It would definitely do that. So potentially, we can take advantage of this here. Buddy, you're already 5, so. I mean, this is 5 speed already, right? So.
Oh yeah, I guess not then.
So what I could do. Well, it depends on like who wants to be sacrificed first. So I guess whoever's okay, we're gonna take a little bit of a gamble here, basically. I have an idea. So basically what I can do is I can manipulate 2 characters to actually be very fast. Don't know who's gonna go first though. That's the only thing. Because these will both have 5 speed. So I think this is kind of what I want to do, but one character is still gonna be vulnerable, unfortunately. But hey, we're messing around here, so we'll see if this is actually beneficial.
Yep.
1 melee, 2 range, so that doesn't really matter. So actually, I want to. No, we're fine for now. You're not gonna take that much damage, right? I hope.
I hope. Right there, out front by themselves.
Not a position the engineer is normally in. All right, let's see what we can do here. So options for placing the totem. You can start doing some damage here, but takes us off this corrosive tile, so that's not the most ideal. Thing is, if I put this here, it kind of interesting. How do I want to do? I can just like try to start to wear down Shio with some damage over time, but that's not gonna quite do what I want to do. So what I can do. This is a very difficult situation. I don't know exactly what I want to do. I think I'm gonna go against my better judgment. Put that there. We're just gonna... Oh, I didn't think this through. Actually, did I? Yeah, I did. Okay, we're fine. We're probably fine, right? Because what I wanted to do is whoever gets stuck here is gonna get hit by a lot of elemental damage, probably. So... Got 4. Basically, I can switch that up to 4 right now, which is nice. Wish this puts me in a difficult situation. Actually, no, this is fine. This is fine for now. I can take advantage of this temporarily. Because what I can do is I can get out of I can get that little speed boost and get myself out of harm's way before things go really bad, I think. So you're gonna go. And then I'm gonna do this. So my thought process here is that I'm basically trying to make no one position truly safe.
Yeah.
Essentially. Because there's no real strategic reason to put anybody on the flame trigger right now. So it's nice to keep the characters in the speed boost, but, you know, if you move your character there, you're going to potentially take some damage from the totem. I'm kind of forcing people into a row here. The only unfortunate thing is that when Paul's engineer rolls back around, I'm going to have to get somebody into the danger zone. Because that's going to be a lot of damage coming my way. Another unfortunate thing with this totem positioning is that Paul's engineer has a lot of elemental defense, so my pressure releases are not going to quite do what I want them to do. So Paul has to decide whether or not he wants to keep Shio there and protect Bolt. Otherwise, the only good place to put Shio would be on the speed tile, but that doesn't quite accomplish what I want to do because
I mean, there's lots of hook options.
Yeah, there's so many hook options at this point. So yeah, it's interesting. It's definitely something's gonna happen eventually, but I don't know exactly what it's gonna be. But we're gonna do, I think, really gonna try to go all out on this engineer as much as possible. Looks like engineer definitely getting targeted, so we're gonna start to go into a more defensive strategy. Really nice if I could do this. No! That's very costly and didn't quite do what I wanted. But hey, that's alright. Happens.
Yeah, I don't know if you came out ahead of that exchange.
No, it was a gamble because I really wanted to see if I could get Totem to go again and then I could do something else. But basically I have to figure out whether I want to stay here and keep on doing this module here. And keep on doing the module to hopefully whittle that down. But if I stay here, I would be better served by doing the stun module.
Yeah.
So what I should probably do is just do this, stack up behind the engineer who already has a high elemental defense, and figure that out. Yeah, I could put that there if I really wanted to. That would really screw things up, wouldn't it? I could potentially do that. But what I think I'm gonna do is I can still do a lot of damage here with quick shot. And then
I'm liking how already this object is making like sequencing very important in a very apparent way.
oh yeah.
Like it's very overt.
Yeah, no, it's cool. I like what this is doing here. What I'm gonna do is that. All right, so basically, Paul's probably going to want to do an arm hook, I'm assuming. And the best character to do that on is the Ranger. Probably. So what I'm hoping Paul's going to do is arm hook and then jump on that tile there to do as much damage as possible by that engineer before the engineer kicks it. But if they do that, they're stuck on this flame trigger. So that's part one of this. Part one. Please do damage to me. No. But otherwise, I don't know a great place to, put that engineer as of right now. I would love for the engineer to kick it on the trigger, but yeah, it's a difficult thing. All right, we're gonna do that instead. Okay. I think I can still work around that, I believe. I want to take the sure thing, or do I want to do something else? Oh, man.
The gamble didn't pay off last time.
Yeah, I'm just going to do this. I'm still going to take some damage, unfortunately, but... yeah, that's fine. Okay, cool. That's acceptable. That's fine. I'd rather take out the character in general.
I mean, taking out that hook is a...
yeah, that's a game changer right now. What do we want to do? So jumping on this, there's no purpose to that, but don't really need to use any elemental defense. So physical defense is perfect because that also deals damage to Bolt for the time being. Unfortunately, Bolt is encouraged right now, so eventually I feel like we're going to need to start targeting Bolt, but we'll see. Yeah, unfortunately, as of right now, Paul's layout is kind of hard to pick apart. Because Paul can literally stay there.
He can't go anywhere, but he's pretty solid in that.
So the only way I can strategize around that is by focusing up with the engineer. Because that will deal the most amount of damage now if Paul stays in this position, essentially. What do I want to do? I want to keep that there. Well, do I? Because I don't. There's no pushing or pulling, so I'd never have to be in this.
Okay, Rourke's had asked about these red squares.
These red squares. So these red squares right here, they set off these gouts of flame that hit the entire column, essentially. So this one right here on my side will trigger this flame here, and vice versa. Oh gosh, I need to do something quick. Hit him! And on Paul's side, this little button will trigger elemental flame damage to this entire column as well. So it does like 10 damage, so it's nothing to sneeze at. But it's pretty decent. So when's Shio's turn? I can go before Shio, so I can actually... Okay, this is hopefully gonna work. This will be fine. Dare you to move. 23 health is fine, right? Right? I can't possibly pay for this. This is a dangerous strategy, but helps me go before Shio and all that sort of thing. Yeah, this shock thing's gonna become a problem pretty soon, so basically I have to do as much as I can with Totem before they kick it. Whatever I do, I have to make it worth it. So I could Disruptor Blade, that could be fine. Pressure Release does nothing. Placing the Totem could help in the long run, but I don't think this character is gonna just plain survive in time, unfortunately. So I think I've
got away with placing your ranger there at least for a while.
Yeah, at least for a while. We're fine for now, but I have to figure out who I want to Disruptor Blade here. I'm assuming I want to do it here. Okay, that worked out. That's fine. Unfortunately, I don't get that damage over time from the totem anymore. But for now, hopefully, I'm gonna continue on this. Going to here. It's also a very dangerous thing that I'm doing, I feel, but I think it's gonna be worth it. Okay, cool. Alright, we're getting some fatigue stacks in there. So hopefully this is worth it. So hopefully if I levitate enough... Is the speed worth it? No, it's not. Okay, I figured that one out pretty quick. Maybe the speed will be worth it on a turn coming up, but Ranger's probably gonna go soon. All right, so we got last one standing on both sides. Yeah, this is gonna be a tight one. I don't know exactly how this is gonna turn out. I think Paul has the advantage here.
I pretty much thought you had this, but Paul was just quietly tanking.
Yep. Pretty much, yeah.
It's being pretty solid, and I guess all the shock.
Yeah,
shock
definitely
can help you.
So I think I'm gonna have to. This is very difficult. I don't think I'm gonna be able to pull this one quite off, but we'll see. Yeah, I'm just taking too much damage from levitation right now, unfortunately. I feel like in order for me to get this, I'm gonna have to do an armor break into the fire lance. So, oh man, that's a lot of damage actually. But if I defense break that, it should do a lot more. I just have to basically survive, I feel. All right, let's see what happens. Oh god. Yeah! Get out of there!
Funny, because I'm watching the stream like everyone else, but I'm directly on Discord with you, so I don't have the stream delay, so I hear your reaction before I see it.
I guess that's fine. Oh man. Oh. Still not gonna be enough, I feel. Jeez, okay. So... How much am I doing here? Okay, I think I have a strategy. Oh gosh, I really hope this is okay.
If you could have put yourself on the speed up tile, would you have got 2 turns there?
Oh, don't say that now, Jason, please. I mean, it won't really. It's not gonna make a difference, so. All right, well, here we go. You're pinned.
So could you have hooked him back and jumped on the trigger then, and just taken him out straight away?
I I wonder. Yeah, I guess so. Maybe. It depends on what their defense stat was, right? Well, maybe. That could have been a possible thing. I mean, I could. This is true. What matters is we got there in the end. We
GG.
eventually got there. So. Yeah, that was a really close one, Paul. Jeez. It's always like nerve-wracking choosing a very squishy team composition that like just barely works together. So I feel like the squishier team compositions generally work on more limited areas because some of them have to do with like positioning, and a lot of them also have to do with counter picking what your opponent is doing as well. So
Okay, looks like Warwick's is gonna jump in
all right,
for a match.
Jason, do you want to get in there?
I guess I have no choice.
You have no choice. You've
Okay.
been called out.
Let's go. I'll drop the link in. I mean, I feel like engineer is just pretty necessary with this on the field, right?
Yeah, I mean, engineer is just very good in general. So at some point, I would like to introduce another character that can manipulate position well. Whether that's like a character that can move your allies on their turn without dealing damage to them and giving them like a bonus or something. Because the thing about the engineer is that there's so much utility. You can move your opponents, you can move your allies, you can do whatever. It does a little damage to your allies, but yeah. But I wonder if there's something we can do that doesn't require you to have the engineer take advantage of a lot of these positional.
So one thing that's still has never really appeared, but seems like an obvious thing to explore, is swapping places with a teammate.
Ah, yeah, definitely.
I'm sure that's been floated as like a stance or something.
Yeah, we could definitely put that in there. Yeah, I wonder.
Well, in fact, if it was a skill rather than a stance, that's kind of nice, right? Because you can switch positions and then move. So you can effectively get both of you out of trouble.
Yeah, you're basically like shuffling stuff around, which is interesting.
I mean, I could see that being a move, right? Like just straight up switch positions with a teammate. That feels so much. There's so much utility there. I think that.
Telling me we need to get a dancer into the game, basically. Reminds me a little bit of there's like a dancer unit. Are they called dancers in Fire Emblem? Can't remember. But
I know what you mean, though. Yeah.
They're essentially units that just like exist to give other units more turns, essentially. Like they're entirely support, pretty much. So, I wonder if we can do something with a character that can shuffle. Obviously not the same exact concept, but does a lot of work with shuffling, positioning. At least with your allies. Oh, hey, what's up, Izu? It's been a while. Oh, they can use swords nowadays? Okay. I got really briefly into the mobile game because I had never played a Fire Emblem game before. I know, it's a huge shocker with these kind of strategy games, but I had never actually played Fire Emblem. So I'm like, oh, I should probably do one of these. And I had a friend tell me that, like, oh yeah, the mobile game is basically almost the same exact, like, gameplay. Yeah, we've had some updates. There's a lot of updates that are happening right now on the back end. I really wish we could show all the visual updates and the single player and et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, but a few months. A few months out. So. But yeah, we've been busy. We've definitely been busy.
Warwick, can you pick the featured layouts terrain just so we can try with this flame thing? Oh no.
Your game is bugged. What is this? There's no bugs in this game. There's never been bugs. What are you talking about? I mean, maybe just refresh the client. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Bugs are features in alphas.
Unexpected features, yeah. Emergent features.
Yeah, exactly. Eventually you'll find sound effect mode, which I always loved in older games where you could just cycle through all the sound effects.
We did actually have a developer like
Yeah.
music mode. I
There's
don't
also
think
like
I've...
there's like a matrix mode as well, or at least there used to be. Where it's like we were testing the animations and they were on that like it looked like you were in like Tron.
Oh yeah. I've actually been using that.
No, it's helpful, it's useful. It definitely is in terms of like timing for sound effects and animations and stuff like that.
Yeah, it works. It may have been something to do with
Oh,
that.
close after the update. All right. Yeah, we'll roll. We'll get in there.
Yeah, so I've been doing a lot of work in integrating the latest animations and sprites in behind the scenes, so I've been seeing a lot of the Tron mode.
Yeah, we've got a lot of sprites coming in all at once, kind of, in terms of like finishing them up. So, man, I just can't wait to show all of like the nice assets all at once. It's gonna be real cool. It's gonna feel like a real game, or at least visually. Still plays really good, but you know, the juice is important.
It is. We got all sorts of juice and vapors and
Well, I mean,
flames.
yes. If we're being literal, then yes, we have those things. Yeah, sure. But yeah, we'll eventually, a few months. Not gonna give a real date for that quite yet, but very soon should have a lot of stuff to show. Actually, having multiple conversations tomorrow with artists and writers. Yeah, writer. I said it. It'd be great to name drop the writers right now, but I won't do. Let's just say very high profile game writer. I'll say that much. That's who we're working.
I think that's fair to say.
I think that's very fair to say, considering how their last game went. Something is broken. That's a lie.
No.
Oh, you can't alt tab out of it. If you go to the gosh, Jason, can Works access the windowed mode?
I think
thing?
if it's locked up, then you may have to Alt F4 or even bring up Task Manager to close it. If it's not responding, I think you just have to hard kill it.
Yeah, it's not super graceful right now. It doesn't need to be, but you know. Oh,
Can't Alt on the main one. So like if you do, I guess you're on Windows. If you do like Windows D to go to the desktop, and if that doesn't work, if you press Control Alt Delete and then come out of that, it should be like minimized. And then you can kind of kill it. So does this keep happening, Works? Or is it just locked up and you're still trying to close that first copy of the game?
I can close. Okay.
Okay.
Oh, weird.
Yeah, so yeah, I guess if you press escape from the main menu and then turn it off full screen, then that may do what you need. Yeah, cool. This is the best Twitch content.
I mean, I could like,
Guitar
I can.
time.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, guitar. Oh, jeez.
No pressure. You don't have to. It's okay.
It's in the back there. I don't know if anyone can hear it. Hold on. I'm not gonna plug it in because I don't know what's gonna happen when I plug that in. But actually, you know what? Orcs, if you fix this stuff soon, you'll be able to escape the guitar. I think it's been a while since I played, so it might be a little out of tune, so bear with me. What I'm gonna do is I'm actually gonna try to plug this into my interface and see what happens. Oh, works okay with windowed mode. Oh, works, you saved us. You saved the rest of the viewers from guitar.
Okay, yeah. Maybe that was a weird bugged update or something, because I can't think what would have caused that particular bug. Yeah. Yeah, maybe at some point if we try like re-downloading the latest version, because the update might have glitched or something. Oh. Okay, that's very, very possible.
Oh. I don't know what we would do to go around that, but
Yeah. I also got a new graphics card, speaking of that, since the last time.
what'd you pick up?
So I got the GeForce GTX 1660 Super.
That's like a really good in between card. Like that's actually, yeah.
It was impossible to find one.
It's impossible to find any graphics card right now. Like any of them pretty much.
I think I got the only one in the UK, I feel like. There's multiple like failed orders, stuff like that, you know.
Wow, okay. Where'd you end up getting it from?
eBay actually in the end. So you go on Amazon, it's like, yeah, we'll have it for you in like May. I ended up buying it one place, and then they had it in stock, like the last one in stock, and then I got an email saying, actually, we don't have one, and ultimately it's eBay. $30.80. I don't really keep track of these things, to be honest. I mean, of like
3080 is like flagship right now, pretty much.
yeah.
But didn't they just like announce something new? I don't know. Can't remember. Or Radeon
Or I think there's new ranges coming out in the next couple of months, right?
Yeah, I hope so, because it's impossible to get a graphics card right now. Like, I've been sitting on my 1070 since I made this computer, and I still haven't had any issues with it, mostly. I think the only thing that has made it struggle, well, two games, actually. One of them being Astroneer, because Astroneer is not... Sorry, but Astroneer is not programmed very well. It's very greedy. And the only other one is Cyberpunk that has made it struggle. I run Cyberpunk on like medium high, I think, settings, but like 1070 is absolutely fine for a while.
So, Oryx, no, it won't. So,
Yep.
And the button lights up when it's able to be triggered, but the first turn, basically before the battle starts, it's disabled.
Are you guys both in there?
Yeah, we're just selecting formations.
All right, I'll switch on over.
Yeah, it worked that way at first, but it was just a bit too weird about how exactly it should happen, and even the order of operations at the start of the battle. 'Cause you know how they kind of jump in? It's like, well, does that mean are they standing there when it triggers, or are they not? And yeah,
I just realized that I messed something up, so people
oh,
might have not heard us for like the past 30 seconds or so.
okay.
That's what I get for my setup being weird today, so. But no, there's some like interesting interactions with damage and stances, so I don't think that stances should be triggering like as people are jumping in because there's no like stances to trigger yet, and yeah,
Mm,
there's some weird timing issues with that. So I think it's
yes.
mostly fair to not have that stuff trigger immediately and only be active when, you know, everybody has been placed on the board, essentially.
Mm. Oh, this is so hard. Like I just do not know what the optimal opening
I've
formation is.
I am interested in seeing what formation or what battlefield y'all got. So,
Yeah, you need to remove them and place again, basically.
yep,
So you could like arm hook them off with the engineer and then move onto it with the engineer and trigger it like
yes,
that. But for the most part, they need to take their turn to move off.
yeah. It'll let you know because it has the light on the trigger. Much thinking going on in this pre-battle.
I felt like there was just no good positioning.
Oh, it's one of these. Okay. So yeah, we have 3 unique battlefield elements here. So we've got the corrosive tile, which is basically
Cool.
poison.
Check that.
Yeah.
Take care,
Oh,
Mizuki.
jeez.
We'll see you
All right.
sometime this year, hopefully.
Pretty much. 6 months is a little far, but almost. Oh, not quite 6 months, I would say. You'll know when we have new content, because yeah, we'll probably make a big deal out of it. Yeah, this layout is quite something, especially with Totem on the board as well. Yeah, this is crazy. I mean, this is relatively similar to the battle that Paul and I had. We had like a speed tile as well, I believe. Was there corrosive on the back tile when
think
Paul
there
and
was.
fought?
I think there
okay,
was.
yeah. So this looks
You
very
avoided
similar.
it.
Yeah. I tried. No, I got into the corrosive tile at least once, so with the ranger, but is it really? That's
Good catch. Yeah, that's my fault. I know exactly why that's happened.
did that happen because of the renaming of some stuff, or
Yeah.
some stuff
basically.
gets shuffled around in the sprite sheet, basically?
Exactly. Yeah.
We'll make a note of that. Going after that all-important engineer soon. okay. I see what's going on here. Kind of a net neutral in damage taken there with the return fire, but definitely helps out. Can't push that button. Also leaves the Berserker in a not ideal place because that Berserker can't really go anywhere to escape either Corrosive or the Flame Jet, so... Yeah, the Berserker is great, but it just takes so much damage from elemental stuff, so... kind of a pain. Yeah, really chipping away at that engineer as soon as possible. Yeah, I don't think the engineer is long for the world right now.
Nope.
Ooh, interesting. Wasn't expecting that.
So I'm starting to feel like I was a little too fancy. I'm more just stuck to the fundamentals of focus down the engineer as quickly as possible, and I think it's going to pay off.
Yeah, maybe. I don't know. It's gonna be a close one. The only problem, the thing is, like, the engineer cannot move off of that tile for a while now, unfortunately. So it looks like Wargs might be able to get enough damage in with the ranger plus a character stepping on top of the button. So that might add up to 12. Probably will.
Yeah. Oh, it works, by the way, as well. That trigger, it won't trigger like support stances or anything like that. It's not considered an attack if you step on the switch. So
yep. Yeah, it's just kind of considered the same as like falling debris or any kind of like an environmental style thing. Ooh, okay, taking advantage of that. Take it while you can. Yeah, the only issue is, oh, actually, you do have an out, don't you? I just realized that. Oh, okay.
I probably just didn't see it.
Oh, I was gonna say the, whatchamacallit, you could have made the engineer go now to move the engineer out of the way.
I think because he's flying, I can't get them with.
Oh, you can't? Okay.
Yeah.
Ooh, engineer gonna be alright for this one? It'll be very close, regardless. Oh gosh! It was that clutch
but levitation.
to heal.
It's doing levitation does 1 damage, yes. I'm okay.
Yeah, it's that it's the clutch heal that you got in there from the chemist. Just barely surviving for one more round to do a little bit of damage. Oh man, Jason, are you going to be able to pull this one off? You have a couple of choices, it looks like, of what you want to do. Depends on, like, action economy. Yeah. I was gonna say, as tempting as it was to potentially pull the Berserker into poison and deal a lot of elemental damage, definitely taking out a character is very important.
Yeah, some of the stance icons are wrong.
It's sneaky. Yeah, that'll do it. 15 damage will do it.
Woo.
Oof. Taking advantage of that health as a resource there to get you down to one character, Jason. I mean, yeah, what else can you really do at this point? It's funny, out of all the characters that you had, Jason, probably the Emis is the one who best able to take advantage of that position, having higher elemental defense and also being able to get behind that half cover, so you kind of counteract the ranger for the time being.
I mean, I think my fate may be sealed, but you know.
Alright, you can at least try to take out the berserker, maybe. Yeah, that's a decent chunk of damage there. Yeah, that'll do it, so that'll definitely do it. Basically, like, what's worth taking half damage from, essentially. Like, do we want to... Yeah. I mean, yeah, it's decent, but we're about 2 rounds off of taking out the ranger, unfortunately. Yeah, the ranger would have had 3 turns more than you, unfortunately. Hey. Good
GG.
Stuff.
Yeah, I think I made a couple of mistakes there, but yeah, I wasn't sure how much. Maybe I focused too much on the switch and not enough on the fundamentals. Maybe I was trying to think, you know, how can I avoid damage from the trigger, kind of above everything else, and it's important, but you know, getting KO'd first is getting the first KO is also important.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm kind of liking the flamethrower as well. It's interesting. It creates some interesting decision making because it's like multiple movements kind of required, and it depends on your opponent's positioning, and
yeah,
especially when there are other things to push or pull them kind of into the column that's in danger as well. I think it's definitely adds something.
definitely. I like the terrain objects that we have that have like a positional aspect to them, as most terrain objects do, but are also interactable and also have, like, you know, a little trick that you can do with them, kind of. I think this one hits all the right note. So I do like. It's interesting because this is, I guess, up till, is this the most complex terrain object that we have right now? Or, because it's interactable and it targets an area.
I would say so. I don't know, maybe falling, depends what you mean by complex. Falling debris is kind of complex because it
That's
moves around
true.
by itself and respawns and stuff.
Yeah, but it doesn't really put the power into the player's hands,
No, no.
which is interesting. Yeah, I wonder like how complex we can get with the, and still have them be something that is like something you can take advantage of in gameplay, as opposed to something that you just kind of like work with as it happens. Not that there's not that that's a bad thing. Like I think there's room for both. But I do
Yeah,
like,
absolutely.
yeah, I do like this new kind of approach to like interactable objects.
Yeah.
Yeah, so
So, shall we maybe wrap it up there for tonight?
yeah, I think
We had a
so.
few good battles in there. Got to try out the new object. Absolutely. If anyone has suggestions for how to tweak this, this was very
Yeah,
experimental. We kind of said this at the start of the stream, but if there's ideas for ways to tweak this for the next patch or for objects with a similar, which work in a similar way, perhaps
yep.
have different twist to them. I'm very open to some of those ideas. But it panned out surprisingly well. Like it's definitely heavy seasoning, right? Like it pretty much dominates the battle. It's not just a little thing that can sit there and passively be a little tweak. I mean, it
Yeah.
affects the gameplay quite profoundly, which is good, I think.
I think the complexity of the battlefield layouts that we saw today is probably at the upper kind of limit.
Mm.
I like that level of complexity, but I think if we go much higher than that, it starts to become, you know, playing around the battlefield instead of playing with it.
Yeah, or just random, right? Like maybe it's not actually
That's
random,
true.
but it's to the level of complexity and multiple interactions that you can't even try to like have a strategy. It's just
Yeah.
too all over the place.
But yeah, I think we're starting to hit that sweet spot with figuring out what our upper levels of complexity are, and what makes the game interesting to play around. Because, you know, I can't even imagine. Like I'm trying to think of like the experience of this game without any terrain objects at all, and adding terrain objects is probably one of the best things that we've done.
Yeah, I'm sure
For
there
the
was a
game.
point
So
when I was thinking, oh, we don't really need those. Like they're just gonna overcomplicate it, but
no, I
it's
think
so
that, yeah,
so much better. Yeah,
definitely.
I mean that marked a transition from like I felt like people like Warwick's had pretty much cracked certain team comps and certain strats, and they were kind of dominating. But as soon as we added terrain objects, that hasn't really happened. Like there are still people who are really good, but it feels less solvable, and every battle is more. There's more adaptation going on the
Yeah,
fly situationally, and it's just less predictable overall. And
I
hopefully
think
that makes it more fun as well. I mean, I'm sure it's also fun to just crunch the numbers and crack the
that.
like the optimal opening sequence and just destroy people. But in the long term, I think this is more fulfilling. Hopefully,
Yeah, I mean, also if we like, if we end up doing the tournaments again and release the collection of possible maps on the playlist, I'm sure people will strategize around those as well and try to crack that, and that's kind of team composition those layouts are. And there's
yeah.
definitely ways to analyze these these things. But yeah, well, thanks to everybody for coming out today and messing around with our with our new flamethrower. Y'all saved yourselves from hearing guitar today too, so congratulations. Paul, you'll have to write out tabs for the guitar parts for some of the Steamhound songs, like on play along.
Oh, that'd be great. Acoustic versions. I'd Love it.
I'll get some classical guitar solos in there at some point. Just need to figure out what the key is. Shouldn't be that bad. I don't think we have too many key changes, right? So it shouldn't be. It should be fun, but maybe we'll do that at some point. That could be pretty entertaining, actually. But anyway, thanks everybody again, and we'll see you all later.
Cool. Take care, everyone.